I want to tell you where I started. I had no savings account, no financial plan, no one in my immediate world who was talking about investing, compound interest, or even net worth. Those are like foreign languages to me. And they definitely wasn't dinner table conversation where I came from. Money came in, money went out, and the goal was to make sure more came in than it went out. That was the whole strategy. I didn't know what a Roth IRA was until I was well into my 20s. I didn't know what the difference between a stock and an index fund was. I didn't know what the employer 401k match I've been ignoring for multiple years. It was literally free money that I was literally leaving on the table every single paycheck. Nobody taught me this. And for as long as I can remember, I felt embarrassed about that. Like I should have known about Roth IRAs, compound interest, net worth, index fund stocks, and not knowing was like a personal failure on my behalf. And it really wasn't. It was a gap, and gaps can be closed, right? So last week we talked about the racial wealth gap. We talked about the history, the systems, the structural reasons this knowledge was kept from communities that look like ours. And today we're going to do something about it. No more money theory, no more context, just the real work that has to get done. This is Sana I. I'm EXO. Let's build, ladies and gentlemen. Before I give you the order of operations, I need to land one mindset shift because without the practical steps, it won't stick. Most people approach wealth building as something they'll start when they have enough money. I hear it all the time. I'll start saving when I have this amount of money. I'll start investing when I have this amount of money. I'll start doing it when this happens. But when the income is higher, when things settle down, when the timing is right, it's like never going to happen. The timing is never right, and waiting for it is the most expensive final financial decision most people make. But here's the shift. Wealth building is not an event that happens after you get your finances together. It is how you get your finances together. You don't save your way to wealth, then start investing. You build the foundation and the future simultaneously in a specific order with whatever you have right now, whether that's $20, $50, $20,000, $50,000. Not because $20 is going to make you rich and retire you, but because the habit of directing money intentionally, consistently toward your future is the actual skill you're building. The amount follows the habit, but the habit has to come first. Did you know research on wealth accumulation consistently shows the behavior of saving, regardless of amount, is a stronger predictor of long-term financial health than income level? High earners who don't save consistently build less wealth than modest earners who do. The discipline of the habit is the asset. The money inside the habit is the compounding engine. Both matter, but one has to come first. That's what I had to learn too. I had to learn, okay, where I'm at. Because I would tell myself, I'll invest when I start making this amount of money, when I get more money to invest. But I had to learn and realize from the studying that I did, I had to like, okay, it's not going to happen when I get that money because it's going to be a continuous chase. I got to start and build the foundation now, which is understanding my personal monthly budget, what it costs to be me, as well as the things that I want in the future. So I have to break that down and really set up my budget. What I did was print my last 3 months bank statements and seeing what was going out, what was coming in, and really getting clear on that number. Then I had to set up my accounts. I have 5 different accounts when I have a deposits, savings, emergency fund, spending account, and bills account. And that really helped me out. It took like a weight off my shoulders because once I got the deposits and I deviated the cash in each account, I felt like, okay, I felt better. But wherever you started from, $0, $10,000, either you're coming out of debt, coming out of financial setback, the answer is still the same. Start now, start with what you have, follow the order, and do not stop. So, financial order of operations. You're going to need your pen and pad for this one. This is the sequence. Please, I'm telling you, follow it in this order. Do not skip steps. Do not rearrange it based on what feels more exciting. The sequence exists for a reason. It's like PAMDAS. If you know in the middle school, high school, or whatever school was taught, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. This is what the order of operations is when it comes to your financial well-being. Each step creates the foundation the next one stands on. Step one, know your number. Before you do anything else, before you open an investment account, before you start a budget, before you do any of it, you need to know what exactly is coming in and what is going out. Every dollar. This helped me tremendously. Most people have a general sense of their finances, but never have actually sat down and mapped the full picture. Your number is your monthly take home income minus your actual monthly expenses. What is left is your building material. If the number is negative, if more is going out than coming in, then step one is eliminating or reducing expenses until it is positive. You cannot build with a negative margin, period. Step two, build a starter emergency fund. Before you pay off debt aggressively, before you invest $1, build a starter emergency fund of $1,000. Not 3 to 6 months as we typically hear of expenses yet. We're going to get to that. Just $1,000 sitting in a high yield savings account untouched. This one step does something that no investment can do. It puts a buffer between you and financial emergencies that derail you along your journey. The transmission goes out, you got that emergency fund. The medical bills arrive, the slow month hits. Without the buffer, those events send you back to either zero or put you in debt. I've been there and I'm grateful for my emergency fund. But with it, they are inconvenient, not catastrophic. $1,000 is the difference between a setback and a spiral. Did you know the federal research found that 37% of Americans could not cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing money or selling something? And among Black Americans, that number is significantly higher. The starter emergency fund is not a luxury. It is not the most proactive financial move available to man or woman started from zero. And it is achievable on almost any income level with 30 to 90 days of an intentional focus. That's what it comes down to, having that intentional focus, being disciplined on yourself when it comes to your financial health. Step three, get the money. Always get the money. Get the free money first. If your employer offers a 401k match, which I had no idea about, which is I'm extremely grateful I know now, and many do, contribute at minimum up to the match before you do anything else with your investing dollars. 100% match on your contribution is 100% guaranteed return before the market does anything. There's literally no investment on earth that it reliably beats that. If you are capturing the full employer match, you're leaving. If you're not capturing the full employer match, which I didn't do, I left tons of money on the table. But we can't think about the past. We got to start from here moving forward. You know about it now. Now let's capitalize it. This is the first investment move, not stocks, not investment accounts, not cryptos, not real estate. This right here, the 401k match. Step number 4, eliminate high interest debt, whether that's credit cards, personal loans, any debt that's really charging you more than 7 to 8% interest. That debt is automatically destroying your ability to build wealth because it is compounding against you faster than most investments can compound for you. There's 2 methods that you can do. There's the avalanche method, paying minimums on everything and directing extra dollars toward the highest interest rate first. And that right there is the most mathematical, efficient approach. But there is also the snowball method. You pay in the smallest balance first, regardless of interest rate. And this provides more psychological momentum for people who need them early wins to stay consistent. Either one works, you just got to figure out what works best for you. Pick one you will actually follow and execute on with discipline until the high interest debt is gone. And once you get to step 5, this is where it starts to get fun. You build your emergency fund. Now that your high interest debt is cleared, you got that weight off your shoulders. Now we start building that 3 to 6 months of actual living expenses in a high yield savings account. And I'm emphasizing on the high yield savings account because you want your money to make money while it's sitting in an account. Not a checking account, a high yield savings account. This fund is your financial immune system. It is what allows you to take risks, whether that's career moves, investment opportunities, entrepreneurial steps, without the threat of a single bad month destroying everything you built. Men and women who have this fund make fundamentally better decisions than anyone who doesn't. Not because they're smarter, because they're not making decisions from desperation. Step number 6, Invest consistently. This is what we build. We got to continuously invest. A Roth IRA, if you qualify based on the income, is the best starting investment vehicle for most people in our audience. Your contributions go in after tax and grow completely tax free. Free money. Yeah, we all love free money, right? You never pay taxes on the gains. For 2026, the contribution limit is $7,000 per year. Max it out if you can. If you can't max it out, contribute whatever you can consistently. That's the main thing, doing it consistently. After the Roth IRA, open a taxable brokerage account with broad index funds that's low cost, diversified, and built to capture the long-term growth of the market without the fees that eat your returns in actively managed funds. Also, this is a major key too. Set up automatic contributions. Automate the habit so it does not depend on your willpower every month. And a little research for you. Vanguard research on long-term investing found that investors who automate their contributions and maintain consistent investing through market volatility outperform investors who try to time the market by an average of 1 to 2% per year. Over 30 years, the difference is not small. It is the difference between a comfortable retirement and a transformational one. Automation removes the emotional variable. Consistency does the rest. Step number 7, own something that appreciates. Real estate if accessible. You own business, additional investments assets. Once the foundation is solid, you got your emergency fund in place, the high interest debt is cleared, you're consistently investing, you have to start adding assets that grow independently from your active income. This is where generational wealth actually gets built, not in a paycheck, but ownership. Man, I hope that helped you out because I know it helped me out. Now, I want to pause here because I know this audience. I know some of you are listening to those 7 steps and feeling one or two things. Either you're thinking, I can't get to step 1 right now. The margin isn't there. I'm behind on bills. I'm dealing with something real. Step 1 feels impossible from where I'm standing. I've been there. Or maybe you're the other one where you're thinking, I'm already past some of these. I've got a savings. I got a 401k. I want to know what comes next. What comes next? Both of y'all in the right place. So let me speak to both of y'all. If you're starting from behind, which I was behind, had bills to pay, everything, you just know if the margin is generally not there right now, the first move is not financial, it's clarity. Map out every single dollar coming in and going out. No assumptions, the actual numbers. Most people who believe they have no margin discover what they do. Discover when they do this, honestly, there's about $10, $15, $20 somewhere that is not being directed consciously. This is your starting point, not the $1,000 emergency fund, the habit of looking clearly and directly, intentionally at what's coming in and what's going out. Build that habit first and the rest follows. And if the income is genuinely not sufficient, if the gap between income and basic survival is real, which we know, especially with inflation, gas prices, the war that's going on, the step 1 is income, not budget optimization, but income. Making more money, a second stream, a skill that earns you money, a role that pays better. The order of operations requires a positive margin to function. Building that margin is a legitimate first step. And let's speak to the other half. If you're further along, if you have the foundation and you want to go deeper into investing, real estate, business ownership, even the tax strategy, this is what the rest of this arc 2 is building toward. The order of operations is the floor. What we build on top of that is the ceiling. What we build on top of it is the ceiling you decide. So it's like keep building, keep understanding. I got to keep doing what I'm doing consistently. I'm ahead of everybody else, but staying consistent because trust me, there's going to be obstacles and hurdles that come along when you think you've been doing stuff consistently. This is the boring part, but it's still fun in the process. So I want to close a loop on something before we wrap this up, because you already know this is Sanai, and we hold up both pillars in every episode. Active building of taking concrete, intentional steps toward financial stability is not just a financial strategy. It is one of the most effective interventions available for financial anxiety. Here's why. The scarcity loop we talked about in episode 5 is sustained by helplessness, the feeling that you have no agency over your financial situation. Every time you make a deliberate financial move, you open your savings account, you make the extra debt payment, you stay up, you set up your automatic investment. You are directly contradicting that helplessness. You are giving your nervous system evidence that you have agency, that action is possible, that the future can be different from the past. And psychologists call this self-efficacy, the belief that in your own ability to influence outcomes. And research is consistent. Self-efficacy is one of the strongest predictors of sustained behavior change. Every small financial win builds self-efficacy. Every act of intentional building tells your brain, I am not a victim of this system, I am a builder inside it. And a 2024 study on financial behavior and psychological well-being found that individuals who took even small, consistent steps toward financial goals reported measurable reductions in anxiety and depression scores, independent of how much money they actually accumulated. The act of building was the intervention, not the destination. That was the direction. So when I say start now with what you have, I'm not just giving you financial advice. I am giving you a mental health prescription, because this is how it has to go. The moment you go from thinking about building to actually building something, something shifts in your brain. The threat response quiets, the self-efficacy rises, excuse me. The future starts to feel something like you're moving toward instead of something that's moving away from you. The shift is available to you today, not when the circumstances are perfect, but today. That's what it comes down to, utilizing what you have today. With that being said, man, here's what the last few episodes have been building toward. Your relationship with money was episode 4, and that was inherited, not chosen, and it can be rewritten. We talked about the scarcity mindset. That's a posture, not a destiny, and it can be broken. We discussed, if y'all knew, we had the interview with Joe Watson about life insurance. Get in that. That's a great generational wealth builder. We talked about the wealth gap in the last episode and our generation and how we can close it. And here, we talked about building the practical steps to get there. The 7 steps are not theory. They are a proven sequence that works for anyone willing to follow them consistently, regardless of starting point, regardless of income, regardless of what was or wasn't modeled for you growing up. So know your number, build your emergency fund, get the free money, eliminate that high interest debt, build the full emergency fund out, and invest consistently. And last but not least, go ahead and own something, whether that's a business, real estate, or whatever it may be, in that order. With what you have, start today, start now. That being said, I'm gonna give y'all some homework. Y'all homework this week, figure out exactly where you are in that sequence, not where you wish you were, where you actually are, and identify that one next move, just one, that next brick. Because at the end of the day, building that foundation is brick by brick. But next week, we move into that career and ambition, how to build an income on your terms, because the order of operations requires a margin, and income is how you build it. That is a conversation that's going to be the realest one yet. This is Sana E. I'm EXO. I'll see y'all next week. Peace, love, and chicken grease.